shocking arrest are rocking Winnsboro ISD. City leaders now speaking out and families left demanding answers. We'll have the latest coming up. And tempers flare in the courtroom as the trial of a former Uvalde CISD officer enters day 8. Up next, we share the testimony that set off the explosive reaction. And President Trump issues a stark warning to Iran as deadly protests rage on, plus his latest claims on the economy and a bold move involving Greenland. Details coming up.
And it will get pretty windy into this afternoon as we introduce our next cold front. We'll talk about all the details coming up in your forecast. So stay right there because Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus starts right now.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus.
The city of Winnsboro is speaking out after several Winnsboro ISD leaders were arrested for failing to report child abuse. Former Superintendent David Wilcox, current Superintendent Aaron Nation, and Ashley Wilcox are all charged. City officials call the allegations serious, saying they've caused anger and uncertainty for family and residents. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 19 Plus. For those of you who are still at home this morning or at work watching us, we've got changes coming to our East Texas forecast that will include some bundling up for all of us.
Absolutely, and especially in the next several days, we are going to be sub-freezing and fairly windy, especially going into this afternoon. Our next cold front is currently moving through East Texas as we speak. So you'll notice this little line of showers kind of fizzling out at this point right here. So this is our next cold front here, and that will continue to move further to the south, and we'll see the winds begin to increase through the afternoon, and we'll start to see a little bit more clearing in those skies right now. Clouds overhead, things looking very gorgeous out there on our Roberts cam, looking south on Broadway. 48 degrees, very chilly out there in Tyler. West winds 6 miles per hour, feeling like 45 out there. And for the rest of us, low 40s across deep East Texas, upper 40s as you go further to the north, and 50s also reported in Sulphur Springs and Mount Pleasant. We'll all end up at least in the low to mid 60s for the afternoon. Again, skies clearing and the winds really starting to howl into this afternoon between 30 and 35 miles an hour. Cooler temperatures as we head into Thursday as a result of the cold front, and then 60s return into Friday. We'll take a look at all the details in your 7-day forecast coming up later.
Thank you, Joel. The city of Winnsboro is now speaking out following the arrest of several Winnsboro ISD leaders accused of failing to report child abuse. Now, in a statement, city officials are calling the allegations serious and deeply concerning. Former Superintendent Brian David Wilcox, current Superintendent Aaron Nation, and Ashley Wilcox, David Wilcox's wife, are all charged with failing to report alleged child abuse by other staff members. And all three were arrested Monday and have since been released from jail. City leaders say that these allegations have caused anger and uncertainty for families, students, and residents across the community, adding that while the city does not oversee school district operations, the safety of children remains the highest priority. A special Winnsboro ISD school board meeting is scheduled for this Saturday at 5:30. Now, in the meantime, the district named Cody Holloway as the acting superintendent. He's been their high school principal. We'll, of course, keep following this story as it develops. A disturbing allegation inside a Lindale grocery store. A now former Brookshire's employee is accused of secretly recording a customer while on the job. Lindale police say that they were called to the Brookshire's on January 4th after a woman reported an employee had taken an invasive video of her while she was shopping. Investigators reviewed store surveillance video and arrested the employee, identified as Hayden Alvey. According to arrest documents obtained by CBS 19, Alvey admitted to making the video. He was booked into the Smith County Jail, but has since bonded out. In a statement, Brookshire's grocery company says the employee was immediately fired, adding that customer safety is a top priority. They also thanked Lindale police for their quick response, saying, quote, "We will continue to implement all necessary measures to maintain a safe and respectful environment in our stores," end quote.
You know, who went into the fatal funnel? My sister went into the fatal funnel.
Ma'am,
Did she need a key? Why do you need a key?
ma'am, go ahead and have a seat.
A family member of a Robb Elementary victim blocked from court after an outburst against former Uvalde CISD police officer Adrian Gonzalez. Rania Kaur is in Corpus Christi with what we can expect for day 8 of the trial.
This morning, Judge Sid Harrell will be evaluating a witness testimony before the jury arrives. But yesterday, a family member was told not to return after an emotional outburst had her escorted out of the courtroom.
My sister went into the fatal funnel.
Velma Duran, the sister of Irma Garcia, a teacher killed in the shooting, was overcome by emotion after difficult testimonies recounting horror inside the hallway on May 24th. The outburst came after Sergeant Joe Vasquez took the stand.
It's dark, can't see anything. As soon as I make entry, I realize I don't have a flashlight, I can't even see. So I look to my right and there's a pile of the bodies.
Vasquez was one of the officers who helped take down the shooter. Both prosecution and defense concentrated on tactics.
What do you do when you hear the gunfire?
Approach it, stop it.
Defense talked once again about the fatal funnel, the concept that an officer could get fatally shot if they couldn't tactically approach the shooter without cover.
You know now that he was in a fatal funnel with those first 5 officers, and 2 of those officers got shot.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Duran reacted after cross-examination was over because her sister was in that fatal funnel.
She went into the fatal funnel. She did it. Not you.
One of the 6 witnesses Tuesday included Texas Ranger Ricardo Guajardo. Guajardo interviewed Gonzalez today after the shooting about what happened. That entire statement was played for the jury. Guajardo was also told by defense that he could be called back. He's the first witness in this trial subject to a recall. Court resumes this morning at 9 a.m. In Corpus Christi, I'm Rania Kaur, sending it back to you.
Thank you for that. And we are providing gavel-to-gavel trial coverage on CBS19 Plus. Throughout the trial, we've got reporters from across Texas and a panel of legal experts that will walk you through the evidence presented in the case. And we're also offering analysis that you just won't find anywhere else. Download CBS19 Plus for free on your smart TV. It's 7:09 and time for your morning headlines. At least 22 people have been killed and more than 60 injured after a construction crane fell onto a train in northeastern Thailand. The crane struck 3 carriages, causing a derailment and a small fire. Authorities say there may still be bodies inside all that wreckage as the recovery continues, and a full investigation has been ordered. The Supreme Court appears likely to uphold state laws that prohibit transgender girls from competing on girls' sports teams. Justices heard oral arguments yesterday on a pair of cases from Idaho and West Virginia. Those bans were ruled as discriminatory in the lower courts. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver their final ruling by this summer. Texas is one of 27 states with laws requiring athletes to compete in sports based on their sex assigned at birth. Check your fridge this morning. The FDA has upgraded the danger level to the highest that it goes for various cheese products over listeria concerns. The recall includes 8 cheese products from the company Embriola, sold between November 3rd and 20th. Now, if you have any of these products, do not use them. Throw them away, or you can return them for a refund. And as open enrollment for Affordable Care Act insurance comes to an end, people appear to be moving to cheaper plans or dropping their coverage completely. According to data released Monday, signups are down more than 800,000 compared to last year. The open enrollment period for the ACA ends Thursday in most states, meaning there is still a chance for people to sign up. Today, top White House officials are set to host representatives from Denmark and Greenland as President Trump intensifies his push to acquire Greenland. Ahead of the meeting, Greenland's prime minister says he prefers Denmark and the European Union to the U.S. It comes after President Trump was in Michigan to tout his economic agenda. CBS News' Jared Hill has more.
To all Iranian patriots, keep protesting.
President Trump told anti-government demonstrators in Iran that help is on the way, as sources inside the country tell CBS News thousands could be dead from the government's violent crackdown on protests. In a wide-ranging interview with CBS Evening News, the president ratcheted up warnings on Tehran if the government makes good on threats to hang protesters this week.
If they do such a thing, we will take very strong action.
The one-on-one in the heart of American auto manufacturing. President Trump visiting Michigan to celebrate his administration's efforts on the economy.
Investment is booming, incomes are rising, inflation is defeated.
He said that hours after the latest consumer price index showed that inflation in December was the same as it was in November, 2.7% compared to last year. But grocery prices jumped more than 3%.
I'm a lot more cautious at the grocery store. We buy less of things.
As the Trump administration looks to acquire Greenland, the country's prime minister says they'd prefer to stay with Denmark over the U.S. President Trump to reporters.
That's going to be a big problem for him.
Officials from Greenland and Denmark are expected to meet with Vice President J.D. Vance and other top U.S. officials today at the White House. Jared Hill, CBS News.
And this morning, the White House is defending President Trump over a viral video that seemed to show the president sticking up his middle finger and shouting an expletive at a heckler during his tour of a Ford plant yesterday. A White House spokesperson claimed in a statement that the person was also yelling at the president. The United Auto Workers says the heckler was suspended by Ford. Well, Smith County is moving forward with a plan to boost its partnership with federal immigration authorities. Yesterday, the county commissioners allowed the sheriff's office to apply for a $100,000 state grant. The funding comes through Senate Bill 8 and is designed to help cover the costs tied to the 287G program, which lets local officers assist ICE with certain immigration enforcement duties. The grant can help the sheriff's office cover expenses, including salaries, overtime, jail cost, and additional training. Judge Neil Franklin says the county qualifies based on its population.
The sheriff's office can use it in fairly any manner. They're looking at salaries, overtime, potentially cost of jail, inmates, all those kind of things they can address it. Training is another one that they talked about.
The sheriff's office opted into federal reimbursement for the 287G program last year, but the state grant will help fill in those remaining costs. Officials say they are still determining exactly how the funds will be used, and the timeline for receiving the money has not been finalized. Listen up if you drive through Tyler. Construction on Old Jacksonville Highway has been pushed back to at least 2030. The $225 million project that we're talking about here will widen the highway from 4 to 6 lanes, add bike medians, that is, bike and pedestrian paths, and then improve intersections. Residents, though, are worried about safe access to neighborhoods during the construction, especially at busy entrances. Officials say public input is still being accepted, and another meeting will be held if the timeline changes again. A home for a hero. A group of Texas teenagers are building an entire home to give to a veteran. The high school students are with Northside ISD's Construction Careers Academy. Henry Ramos went to the construction site to see their hard work firsthand and learn this is also building their futures.
It takes precision. Every cut and measurement has to be right. This project is powered by young hands.
Age doesn't make us any less capable.
From the ground up, high school students with Northside ISD's Construction Careers Academy are building an entire home.
When we got it, it was just a trailer. We had to take the trailer, put metal sheeting over the top, put insulation on that, build a whole subfloor, put the subfloor on, build the walls, then put all the walls up.
It is their biggest project yet.
This is the fastest I've ever seen one get done. And I mean, the work that they're doing, it's amazing.
You still have to do this.
The students, part of the magnet school, started the build in late 2023. Wow. For a lot of them, they didn't know a thing about construction before entering the program.
We try to be out here every single day to get as much work done as we can.
The more than 900 square foot home has 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, a loft. It'll even have a full kitchen and living room.
I think we're doing something great, and it feels amazing to be a part of that. And I love all my classmates. We're a great team.
The project, called Home for a Hero, was funded by their partners, and once it is finished, it will be given to a local veteran.
It means a lot to me knowing that I can build a home or something just this small. Well, it's big, but it's small in comparison to what they did for us.
As the structure takes shape, so does their future. This program is helping construct these students' lives.
It helps us build both in our personal lives and academic lives. You learn a lot of good life lessons.
This house may be made with wood and nails, but it was built with heart.
I hope they love it. We put a lot of hard work into it.
A lot of love going into that, and seeing benefits on both sides, that's amazing.
We love love.
Yeah, we do. All right, y'all, this is some crazy weather that we've been having. 1 minute it feels like winter, the next it's summer here in East Texas. We're all trying to stay comfortable, flipping between blankets and fans, heaters, AC. So we want to know, are you using your heater or your AC right now? What about you, Joel?
All of the above.
Right?
I would say for tonight, you're definitely going to need those heaters.
Okay, I've been flipping kind of back and forth. I think I've only turned the heater on once. What is it with that smell? I hate that smell, the heater smell.
It smells like electric.
It does.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean there.
I have turned the fireplace on several times, but the heater only once because we were all frigid. People are talking over on Facebook. They say both. Angela says both, so does Lydia, Paige, and Yvonne says yes. So I think she's saying she's doing both, right?
Yes, all of the above.
Well, we're going to need all of the above over the next week.
Yeah, we sure are. And it's going to be pretty windy today. That might affect traffic into this afternoon.
Be careful out there.
Yeah, absolutely. But so far, roadways are not looking too bad. Very nice and dry and quiet. 2 hours over to Dallas and an hour and 30 minutes over to Shreveport on I-20. So things looking fantastic there. US 69 doing just fine. 2.5 hours up to Denison, hour and 30 minutes. Down south towards Lufkin. We also have Jacksonville to Nacogdoches up to 55 minutes, 40 minutes from Tyler to Longview, 55 from Tyler to Palestine, and if you're heading from Tyler to Athens, 45 minutes is how long that'll take you there. We got 10 miles of visibility generally all across the area, not expecting any sort of visibility impacts for you this morning, but again, we're talking about a little bit of gusty wind into this afternoon. That's going to be behind our next cold front, so especially if you're heading east or west, maybe on I-20, for example, certainly make sure to drive with caution, especially if you're in a higher profile vehicle. But all in all here, not looking too bad. Green lights for this morning and green lights into this afternoon. Only thing to really watch for is the wind.
It's time for CBS19 Sports.
Hello and welcome to Sports. I'm Jimmy Sierra. We're glad you're with us because yesterday, one of the biggest programs in East Texas got their man to lead them. Jonathan Darby will be the next head football coach of the Pleasant Grove Hawks. Darby has been the defensive coordinator for the last 5 years of the program. He's been around for 7, though. More importantly, he's coming from the standard that former head coach Josh Gibson set over the last dozen seasons. Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin told the team yesterday he'll be stepping down as head coach. Tomlin is widely regarded as one of the most respected coaches around the league. He leaves the Steelers with a 201 and 126-2 record, a Super Bowl ring, and not a single losing season in any of those 19 seasons. The Steelers are now looking for just their 4th head coach in franchise history. This is the biggest basketball game in East Texas.
Yo, they are fun to watch.
Through for a huge district win.
A runaway train. She gets the hoop. Same spot. Why not?
Why not? Dan, I said it last night and I'll say it again. I never thought Taco Tuesday could be beat, but man, we do a good job of doing it. Tip-off Tuesdays are just as good.
Yeah, forget about tacos. It's about basketball on Tuesdays from here on out.
And you went north to get yourself a good one.
I sure did. Over in Winona, Wildcats beating Malakoff 15-9 in the second quarter. Tigers mounting a comeback, though. Cooper Snegal collects the offensive board and gets it to Adrian Chambers for 2. Then Jack Driscoll spots up in the corner, lets the 3 fly. Nothing but net. Winona back at it, feeding the big man inside to Davion Weaver. Off the mark at first, but he gathers his miss, puts it back up and in, and one. Weaver gets the hoop plus the harm, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Some bully ball this time around from Weaver as the Tigers try to draw the charge. Instead, that's another bucket for the Wildcats. On the other end, Malakoff on the fast break. Driscoll's got it, hits the Euro step in for the easy lay. That one was pretty easy, but check out this reverse attempt from Williams. Self straight through the defense, up and over to the other side. Beautifully done. Tigers on the run again. Self leading the pack, finds Nasir Ross for the easy lay. Malakoff up 23-20 at the half in this back and forth affair.
Yeah, I went down to Jacksonville at John Alexander Gymnasium to see the Maryland commit Austin Brown and the Lufkin Panthers take on the Jacksonville Indians. This one was a real close one. It was his teammate getting shining early, though. Here's Kevo Moore hitting it from deep. That one's good for 3 for the purple team. Jacksonville staying in it, though. They're quick in transition here. Abdul Bates at the bucket. Easy money here. Indians were just fighting back from just a few points down the entire time. Lufkin back on their side. First try, no good. But hey, here's the future Terrapin putting it back there. That's 1 good for 2. Indians still matching their step, though. Again, working in the paint here, driving. Little layup action. Ends up in the net. Check the ball movement from the Lufkin Panthers here. 1, 2, 3 passes. A coach's dream. Hey, Jacksonville gets a hand on it, then it's a coach's nightmare. They can't finish. Lufkin does. Brown, not a ton of points tonight, but he found the men to get him the points. Caden Borst there under the bucket. Then Jacksonville get a little saucy. Ben Bolton from 3. Ain't heard that name yet, but you heard it a few times after that. How about this one? 2's better than 1. Jordan McGowan all alone from 3. Indians staying hot here in the third. Grab the steal. Get it to Abdul Bates again. Bates hesitates, goes for it, and 1. Yes, sir. Monty Stevenson approved, but Lufkin would go on to win this one 66-56. But, you know, we're still big thinkers. We got big old noggins here, and we're using them. And I'm here to say John Alexander Arena is a great place to play, which makes Jacksonville 2 for 2 on great places to play. The Tomato Bowl, obviously great. But this place was fantastic. Had an old school feel. The fans were loud. The fans were energetic. And you could definitely hear the echo because everything in there was made of wood. What a great place to play. You could feel the energy in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I want to stick with your game, Jimmy, and I want to talk about Austin Brown. I got to see him play last year before he committed to Maryland. Didn't know a ton about him. I just remember seeing Lufkin play in a playoff game at Athens, and I thought to myself, man, that kid's really good. And then a couple months later, he committed to Maryland. He's a senior now, so he's got another year to impress us. And you said it, he didn't score a ton in that game last night, but as he goes, Lufkin goes, and Lufkin's off to a really great start to the season about midway through the season, and hopefully he can carry them into another deep playoff run this year.
Yeah, you could definitely tell when he had the ball in his hands, things were just moving a little bit.
Just makes things happen.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's all we got for you. We'll see you later. Morning, y'all.
Back to y'all.
Morning, y'all. Back to y'all.
From the underdogs to the rising stars.
We're kicking off a mission to help every dog and cat get their shot at a forever home.
Help us score a win for animals in our community.
Sponsored by Pelche Subaru.
Well, we are about to step away for a moment while we break in to our over-the-air broadcast with a news update for you. We'll be right back here on CBS 19 Plus. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this morning news update. The city of Winnsboro is speaking out following the arrest of several Winnsboro ISD leaders accused of failing to report child abuse. In a statement, city officials are calling the allegations serious and deeply concerning. Former Superintendent Brian David Wilcox, current Superintendent Aaron Nation, and Ashley Wilcox, David Wilcox's wife, are all charged with failing to report alleged child abuse by other staff members. City leaders say the allegations have caused anger and uncertainty for families, students, and residents across the community, adding while the city does not oversee school district operations, the safety of the children remains the highest priority. A special Winnsboro ISD School Board meeting is scheduled for this Saturday at 5:30. A disturbing allegation inside a Lindale grocery store. A now former Brookshire's employee is accused of secretly recording a customer while on the job. Lindale police say they were called to the Brookshire's on January 4th after a woman reported an employee had taken an invasive video of her while she was shopping. Investigators reviewed store surveillance video and arrested the employee, identified as Hayden Alvey. In a statement, Brookshire's grocery company says the employee was immediately fired, adding that customer safety is a top priority. They also thanked Lindale police for their quick response, saying, quote, "We will continue to implement all necessary measures to maintain a safe and respectful environment in our stores," end quote. Well, listen up. If you drive in Tyler, a construction project on hold on Jacksonville Highway is pushed back to at least 2030. The $225 million project will widen the highway from 4 to 6 lanes and add medians, bike and pedestrian paths, and improve intersections. Residents worry about safe access to neighborhoods during construction, especially at busy entrances. Officials say that public input is still being accepted, and another meeting will be held if the timeline changes again. All right, let's toss it over to weather, see how things are looking.
Yeah, things are going to get pretty windy into this afternoon as our next cold front makes its way through. We're talking about wind gusts between 30 and 35 miles per hour. So again, definitely want to make sure to hang on to those hats into the afternoon. Also, temperatures expected to be in the upper 50s and low 60s, and skies becoming a little bit more clear. But because of that cold front, temperatures will be taking a dive into tomorrow morning into the upper 20s and low 30s. All of us will be at or below freezing for tomorrow morning. And then low 50s for the afternoon. Winds come in from the south, still staying pretty sunny. We start off a little bit warmer on Friday morning with temperatures in the 40s. And then here comes our next cold front. Before that moves through, temperatures will reach the low 60s, but then we'll drop for the weekend, and it's going to be pretty back and forth from there as our next Arctic air mass kind of comes in pieces over the next several days. So we can expect temperatures bouncing back and forth from the 50s and the low 60s. And again, really something to note is those lows in the upper 20s. Make sure you're taking care of everything with that. And temperatures for next week will be cooling into the low 50s again.
Welcome back to Morning Y'all on CBS 19 Plus. This is what's coming up in our second half hour. An au pair testifies in the trial of a Virginia man accused of killing his wife and a stranger. What was said in court. And 1 week after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis, federal prosecutors are now resigning in protest. Up next, what's behind their walkout.
And we may not be seeing much rain, but the weather still is certainly active as those temperatures bounce back and forth between the 50s and 60s. Gusty winds will bring us the chance for some fire weather conditions. We'll take a look at that 7-day outlook coming up later this half hour.
Together, we're putting East Texas first. You're watching Morning Yo on CBS 19+.
Good morning, y'all. On this Wednesday, I'm Dana Dixon. Jesus Martinez is on assignment. Thank you so much for joining us here on CBS 19+. 7:31 now. A man is on trial for allegedly killing his wife and another man in 2023. Authorities say he planned the murders with his au pair, with whom he was having an affair. Reed Binion reports.
Brendan Banfield killed his wife, Christine Banfield, and another man named Joseph Ryan.
Prosecutors laying out their case against a Virginia man accused of plotting with his au pair to murder his wife and frame another man.
He mentioned his plan to get rid of her.
Prosecutors say Brendan Banfield and the family's au pair, Juliana Perez Magales, were having an affair.
They would use Christine's email accounts to create a fake profile to lure someone in who was into kinky sex.
The plot, according to prosecutors, included trips to a gun range, fake 911 calls, and allegations of BDSM sexual role play.
They would get this guy to come into the house and fake rape Christine.
Prosecutors say in February of 2023, that man, Joseph Ryan, entered the house after being tricked by Brendan and Perez Magales into thinking Christine had invited him to play out a fantasy.
Brendan would be the hero of the day. He would show up, kill the guy, kill his wife, pretending that it had been that guy.
According to prosecutors, Brendan Banfield shot Joseph Ryan in the head, then stabbed his wife.
I was able to see him stabbing her.
But Banfield's attorney argues the prosecution's case hinges on testimony from Perez Magales, who the defense says was put in a position to lie in exchange for a lenient sentence.
The whole reason she was arrested was to flip her against my client.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Banfield is charged with aggravated murder and using a firearm during the commission of a felony. He faces up to life in prison if convicted on the murder charges. Perez Magales was initially charged with murder, but has since pleaded guilty to a lesser count of involuntary manslaughter for fatally shooting a wounded Joseph Ryan. She agreed to cooperate with prosecutors against Banfield in exchange for a recommendation that she be sentenced to time served. Now to Henderson County, the sheriff's office is sounding the alarm over dangerous pills that could be mistaken for candy. This comes after hundreds of pills and marijuana were found during a traffic stop. Deputies pulled over a driver in Athens earlier this week and say they smelled marijuana. Now, during the search of the car, they found a gallon bag of marijuana along with baggies and scales. They also discovered small, brightly colored pills that tested positive as suspected methamphetamine. Investigators warn the pills are designed to look like candy or vitamins, but may contain highly dangerous drugs, including fentanyl. The driver, identified as Armand Roberts, was booked into the Henderson County Jail and is being held on a $104,000 bond. Continuing coverage now, also out of Henderson County, an East Texas family is feeling both relief and a new wave of pain after a cold case arrest and a double murder case from almost 8 years ago. CBS 19's Ayana Aird sat down with the victim's sister.
I was shocked and in denial because that young man was never on anyone's radar.
Lance Raines was arrested in connection with the 2018 murders of Gabriel and Beverly McBride.
And I was even more shocked because we grew up with him.
Jennifer York, the sister of Gabriel McBride, says for years the family tried to put the pieces together, but nothing added up.
I guess I wanted a monster, and Lance is no monster.
Left with unanswered questions, struggling to understand who could have committed the crime and why.
He did confess to the crimes. He knew Gabriel dealt in marijuana. He needed marijuana. He wanted marijuana, and he went over to that residence. He said he did not realize that Beverly was there until he was inside the residence. So he basically went over there to rob them, and then it turned into what it turned into.
Jennifer says it hurts even more knowing how close the family once was to Raines. Jennifer says she will forever hold the memories of her brother Gabriel and niece Beverly close to her heart.
I just idolized him, and then, we got older, and at first we still fought like cat and dogs, but for some reason music is what brought us together as teenagers. Beverly was a very talented young lady. I don't know if most people know, but Beverly lost her mother to domestic violence 5 years prior to her death, and she was starting to blossom again.
Raines is now charged with capital murder. York says she hopes prosecutors do not seek the death penalty.
He's not a monster. That's what I needed it to be, a monster. And now I'm disheveled by it, because there's a lot of love for Lance. And he was just a dumb kid that acted hasty in a minute. And I think if he had his way, he would take it back.
For CBS 19, I'm Ayana Aird.
7:37 now. It's been exactly 1 week after an ICE agent fatally shot a woman in Minneapolis. And we have learned that several federal prosecutors have now resigned in protest over the investigation. And President Trump weighed in on the deadly shooting as tensions continue to spike across the nation. Several career federal prosecutors in D.C. have resigned over the handling of the case, and a half dozen Minneapolis federal prosecutors have also left the job. The New York Times reports they resigned because senior DOJ officials are pushing for a criminal investigation into Good's widow. President Trump, in a one-on-one with CBS Evening News, spoke about Good.
I would bet you that she, under normal circumstances, was a very solid, wonderful person, but her actions were pretty tough.
ICE will continue its operations in Minnesota, and DHS has sent thousands of agents to the area. Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is calling it an open-ended mission. The Justice Department continues to grind in its work to process the massive trove of Epstein files. Now it's pushing hundreds of lawyers reviewing pages to work faster. An email from the head of the Justice Department's criminal division asked his team to review documents at a pace of 1,000 pages a day. The Justice Department is making redactions to documents as it operates under a mandate to make the Epstein files public in compliance with the transparency law. Meanwhile, former President Bill Clinton could face contempt proceedings after skipping a hearing on Epstein. And Hillary Clinton is scheduled for a deposition today, though her lawyers say she won't attend, calling the subpoenas legally invalid. A Long Island, New York judge says the trial against the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer will begin right after Labor Day. Rex Heuermann is accused of killing 7 women between 1993 and 2011. The judge says Heuermann will have one trial for all 7 alleged victims. A defense attorney had petitioned to have separate trials for each one. Heuermann's lawyers also asked the judge to toss out nearly every major aspect of the prosecution's case. They have until March 3rd to respond to the defense challenges. And civil rights pioneer Claudette Colvin has died. She was 86 years old. The Claudette Colvin Foundation said she will be remembered for her sharp wit and strong conviction in justice and human dignity. Colvin was just 15 years old in March 1955 when she was asked to give up her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus to a white passenger. She refused, leading to her arrest and charges of assault and battery of an officer, disorderly conduct, and violating the bus segregation ordinance. It would be several months later that Rosa Parks made the same decision on a Montgomery bus, prompting the Montgomery bus boycott. 7:40 now. The Carthage livestock auction has raised more than $100,000 for a Wascom family grieving the loss of 2 young brothers killed in a house fire. After the December tragedy that claimed the lives of Hector and Isaac Pedraza, auction owner Kevin McDonald organized a special benefit auction with all proceeds going directly to the family. With help from local businesses and community members contributing donations, auction officials say East Texas support has pushed donations past $100,000. A neighborhood in Tyler is lighting up memories of the city's past. CBS 19's Robert De La Garza shows us how an East Texas man is keeping old Tyler businesses glowing, one neon sign at a time.
Taking a drive down Mockingbird Hill is a lot like taking a stroll down memory lane. Neon lights line this quiet back road, each one carrying a story of Tyler's past.
And it's sort of a place of honor, I think.
That's where you'll find Mike Collins, the sign guy, marquee man, but he's best known as Tyler Boy.
I have a sign collection, and the sign collection got too big for where I was at, and I thought it might be a good idea to start sharing some of these signs.
By day, he's a private investigator. By night, he restores Tyler's history, something he says was inspired by Las Vegas's Neon Museum.
And so, yeah, I think it's just fun to find them, restore them, and then let people enjoy them.
2 years and roughly 55 signs later, it has turned into a small token of Tyler that's brought spectators from all over to get a glimpse of the past.
Like I said, this isn't a business for me. I'm collecting memories as we lose them. So I hate to see the businesses close, but I'm gonna do what I can to keep their memory alive.
Preserving local history and bringing back memories, one neon light at a time.
Remembering enhances the moment of today.
As word spreads throughout social media, passerby Patty Babbitt and her husband stop to take it all in.
I mean, it just adds to, you can enjoy this moment, but the memories that come along with it make it even more special.
But to Collins, these aren't just LED lights or oversized banners. They're souvenirs from places that helped shape his life. His favorite?
Has to be Bruno's. It's always going to be my favorite sign just because of kind of what that family means to me and what the place means.
And with more businesses closing each year, Collins says the collection isn't finished yet.
So I'm going to try to get the ones, the Razzoos, the Hangries, the corner bakeries. I'm going to try to get those. But
in a city that's always changing, here, the past still has a place to shine. For CBS 19, I'm Robert De La Garza.
It's like an outdoor museum.
I know, it's so neat, isn't it?
I like it. I like that we still are keeping those alive a little bit. All right, Lego is interlocking with the Pokemon universe. The toy giant has unveiled its first ever, I can't believe it's the first ever, line of Pokemon sets marking a major crossover between the two of the largest play brands in the world. Now, the first collection will debut on February 27th, and it's inspired by characters throughout Pokemon's 3-decade history. Pre-orders can be made now at Lego.com.
Wow.
Oh, my boys loved Pokemon back in the day.
No, I definitely loved Legos. I wasn't a huge Pokemon guy, but I certainly loved Legos, and just to see the sets that are around. Yeah, the sets that are around, like overall, not even just Pokemon, it's unbelievable.
It
like
really
20,000 pieces?
I know, it's almost like, you know how puzzles became really popular now? I feel like it's Legos even for adults and teens.
Oh, yeah.
Gives them something to do.
It really could be for anybody.
Yeah. All right, better late than never, especially for a couple in Virginia. Over the weekend, Harold and Frances Pugh celebrated their 70th anniversary with the wedding they never had. The two met in the 1950s at a skating rink. Not long afterward, they eloped. Decades passed, but the two never had an actual wedding ceremony. That was until recently when 91-year-old Harold and 90-year-old Frances renewed their vows in front of family and friends. They say the secret of their successful relationship was that they both found the right person. And they also, quote, say, to put God first.
That's really cool.
Oh, see, we were talking about that earlier. It's never too late to do what you love or like what feels like you should have done it in the past.
Right, and no matter if it takes 70 years.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
right.
you can always get like a vow renewal and just have something that maybe you wish you had.
I know. They look like they had so much fun, and they look good in their 90s, I'm telling you.
They're looking good.
Well, what a beautiful sky. I know there's clouds, but the clouds and the clear kind of make for something really pretty as you head out today.
Yeah, just really nice colors all around, and we're going to be cloudless into this afternoon. This is all behind a cold front, which will be moving through into this afternoon. Actually, as we speak, into this morning, we saw these showers up to the north. They are ahead of that cold front, continuing to move to the south, and we'll see some cooler temperatures in the days ahead, and of course some gusty winds behind that as well. Cloud deck right overhead. Got some beautiful skies on our Roberts and Roberts Cam. Traffic picking up heading northbound on Broadway this morning. 48 degrees the current temperature with a west wind of 6 miles per hour. It's making it feel like 45 degrees out there, and some of us still in the low 40s. And you go further to the north, closer to that cold front, the compressional warming of that cold front, kind of like acting as a kind of a bulldozer, has our temperatures pretty close to the 50s. Actually, 50 reported in Mineola and 52 reported in Sulphur Springs. So we'll see maybe a little bit of a brief warm up before that cold front actually comes through, and that is where those temperatures will be decreasing into the rest of tonight and into tomorrow. So again, for today, expect temperatures in the low to mid 60s, winds beginning to pick up behind the cold front, and also clouds beginning to disappear as it continues to move through. We cool down for Thursday, down to the low 30s, maybe even some upper 20s in there. Low 50s for the afternoon, back up to the 60s for Friday, and there will be more back and forth in our temperatures coming up in the next 7 days. We'll take a look coming up.
Thank you, Joel. All right. I think jumping into freezing water sounds crazy. It does for this girl. I'm always cold, but you're not alone. Cold plunges, though, are the latest wellness trend, taking over some gyms now. After the break, we take a look at what it can do for your mind and your body. Well, if you missed kicking off the new year with a polar bear plunge, you can still get on the growing trend of cold plunges. Many wellness facilities and gyms are adding this feature, saying that it helps with inflammation after a workout and can even improve mental clarity. Christian Benavides goes for a dip.
This winter in Miami, it's freezing. Customers at the ice room slide into the tub, lowering into water as cold as 36 degrees for about 2 minutes on purpose.
My body is going through a lot of high impact movements.
Competitive athlete Kevin Arellano added a cold plunge to his fitness recovery regimen about 6 months ago and says the benefits are instant.
Immediately when I come out, I feel relaxed, I feel energized, I feel refreshed, mentally clear.
Director of Operations Kathy Orjuela says plunging is getting more and more popular.
Wellness is not something that you do anymore when something goes wrong. It's something that people are building into their daily routines.
It's not necessarily my daily routine.
Whoa, wow,
It took a few tries to finally get in.
If the tub is too much to consider right now, you can test the waters in the privacy of your own home. Experts say end your daily shower standing under 30 to 60 seconds of cold running water.
I think it's always important to weigh the risk-benefit and to really understand what the risk is for you as an individual.
Physical medicine and rehabilitation specialist Dr. Craig Van Dien says the activity is not recommended for people with heart or lung conditions. But
most of the evidence that's out there today supports cold plunging for recovery after exercise, so particularly your high-intensity exercise.
Arellano's regimen here includes compression therapy, an infrared sauna, and finally, the cold plunge.
You could be somebody that's dealing with mental stress, physical stress. Cold plunging, in a way, helps you overcome that.
He says getting cold feet never felt so good. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
We're about to talk about our crazy weather here in East Texas, but would you do the cold plunge?
Maybe once.
Once. I absolutely hate being cold, so it's
Yeah.
just not for me, y'all. But how about this? The weather kind of crazy out there, so we want to know, are you using your heater or your AC? Like some days it feels like summer here. Some
Right.
days it feels like winter. We don't know what to do.
Exactly. I mean, you just kind of have to use kind of a balance of both. Like tonight, you're definitely going to need those heaters, and maybe this afternoon, maybe the AC. Especially last week, you needed the AC because it was in the upper 70s.
Our heaters don't know what to do. All right. Dennis says he's definitely using both. I like what Sue has to say. She says it's the Texas two-step season with heat and AC.
That's good.
So she's doing
That's
both.
really good.
I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Right. Wait for this
For
weather?
me, sometimes when it's like on the cusp, I'll just add blankets because it gets, for some reason, the heat, even when it goes on just a little bit, gets so hot in my bedroom and I just can't.
Just a few degrees really makes a difference.
It does.
It really does.
It absolutely does. Well, speaking of a few degrees, we're going to be dropping a few degrees here in East Texas over the next, like 24 hours?
Yes, we are watching a cold front as we speak to move through the area. And this time tomorrow morning, temperatures will be in the upper 20s and low 30s. But for this afternoon, as that cold front continues to move to the south, we will be gusting between 30 and 35 miles per hour out of the north. So again, as we've kind of been saying all morning, if you're heading east or west today in a higher profile vehicle, you may run into some issues there. So certainly make sure to drive carefully on your way out this afternoon. Now, as far as the cold front and the temperatures are concerned on our future skycast, we will be clearing out. Temperatures for today will still be in the low to mid 60s. And then this is where temperatures will really start to tank into the middle to upper 20s and low 30s, all of us being at or below freezing. And then for Thursday afternoon, we'll reach the low to mid 50s once again with the winds coming in from the south. Skies remaining clear. Will be just a little bit warmer as a result. On Friday morning with temperatures in the middle to upper 40s. We'll still be aiming for the upper 60s and low 70s, but that'll be before our next cold front moves through into the afternoon, and that will plummet our temperatures into this weekend. So it's a very, very back and forth forecast into the next few days, and we're also going to be very dry in the meantime. Despite all these cold fronts, and of course, given the wind, certainly going to cause some issues when it comes to fire danger. So all of us, or I should say most of us, are within this moderate category when it comes to fire danger. Some of us off to the south and west in a high or even very high category. We got burn bans that are still in place across some parts of the area, like Center, Carthage, Marshall, Henderson, Palestine, Crockett. You're still within those burn bans. I do recommend, even if you're not within those burn bans, to avoid burning anything altogether, especially for today, given the gusty conditions. But very back and forth with our temperatures into the next 7 days, going back and forth from the 50s to the 60s. The biggest thing to note overall is the overnight lows in the upper 20s to low 30s.
All right, thank you, Joel. Well, we're about to step away for a moment while we break into our over-the-air broadcast with a news update. We'll be right back here on CBS 19 Plus for you. Good morning, y'all. I'm Dana Dixon. Thanks for being with us for this morning news update. In Henderson County, the sheriff's office is sounding the alarm over dangerous pills that could be mistaken for candy. This comes after hundreds of pills in marijuana were found during a traffic stop. Deputies pulled over a driver in Athens earlier this week. Now, during a search of the car, they found a gallon bag of marijuana along with baggies and scales. They say they also discovered small, brightly colored pills that tested positive as suspected meth. Investigators warn the pills are designed to look like candy or vitamins, but they may contain highly dangerous drugs, including fentanyl. The driver, identified as Armand Roberts, was booked into the Henderson County Jail. Smith County is moving forward with a plan to boost its partnership with federal immigration authorities. Yesterday, the county commissioners allowed the sheriff's office to apply for a $100,000 state grant. The funding comes through Senate Bill 8 and is designed to help cover costs tied to the 287G program, which lets local officers assist ICE with certain immigration enforcement duties. The grant can help the sheriff's office cover expenses.
The sheriff's office can use it in any manner. They're looking at salaries, overtime, potentially cost of jail, inmates, all those kind of things. They can address it. Training is another one that they talked about.
Officials say they are still determining exactly how the funds will be used, and the timeline for receiving the money has not been finalized. The Carthage livestock auction has raised more than $100,000 for a Wascom family grieving the loss of two young brothers killed in a house fire after the December tragedy that claimed the lives of Hector and Isaac Pedraza. Auction owner Kevin McDonald organized a special benefit auction with all proceeds going directly to the family. With the help from local business and the community contributing donations, auction officials say East Texas support has pushed donations past that $100,000 mark. Changes to our weather today. How are things looking right now, Joel?
Yeah, not looking too bad. And again, of course, into this afternoon, we are going to be watching for that next cold front to move through, and we'll be gusting our winds between 30 and 35 miles per hour, as well as cause those temperatures, at least for tomorrow, to drop down to sub-freezing levels. But certainly be careful on the roadways this afternoon, especially if you're heading east or west and driving a higher profile vehicle. Temperatures for this afternoon in the upper 50s and low 60s. Skies beginning to clear. Temperatures for tomorrow morning in the upper 20s and low 30s. And then for the afternoon, only making it to the low to mid 50s. Winds shift in from the south. Temperatures will start out a little bit warmer into Friday morning into the low to mid 40s. And then here comes our next cold front. We'll end up being in the low to mid 60s. But after that cold front comes through, temperatures will be taking a dive once again into our Saturday. Very back and forth when it comes to our 7-day forecast, but we're overall going to be cooling as we head into the later parts of the weekend and into next week.
News before you go this morning at 8 o'clock. The trial continues for former Uvalde police officer Adrian Gonzalez. Yesterday, a family member of a Robb Elementary shooting victim was escorted out of the courtroom after reacting to testimony on police tactics. Sergeant Joe Vasquez, one of the officers who helped stop the gunman, testified about how officers are trained to respond to active shooters, including the controversial fatal funnel concept. Court resumes this morning in Corpus Christi with the judge reviewing testimony before the jury returns. A former Brookshire's employee in Lindale has been charged after he allegedly secretly recorded a woman while she was shopping. Lindale police say they were called to the Brookshire's grocery store on January 4th. Investigators reviewed store surveillance and arrested Hayden Alvey, who later admitted to making the video. He was booked into the Smith County Jail and has since bonded out. And turning a heartbreaking loss into a powerful show of support, the Carthage livestock auction has raised more than $100,000 for the family of Hector and Isaac Pedraza. You may remember the two young brothers were killed in a Wascom house fire last month. Auction owner Kevin McDonald organized the special benefit auction with all proceeds going directly to the family. All right, one more check of our weather as we get ready to head out on this Wednesday.
Yeah, breezy into this afternoon. Temperatures will be reaching the low 60s. Partly cloudy skies becoming clearer as we watch our next cold front move through the area. That'll affect our temperatures into tomorrow, with temperatures as low as the low 30s and even upper 20s for some of us. And then during the afternoon, we'll see temperatures increase into the low to mid 50s. 60s return by Friday. And then another cold front comes through on Friday afternoon. That'll tank our temperatures down into the 50s once again, with overnight lows pretty close to freezing. Sub-freezing temperatures for Sunday morning as well, and temperatures for the afternoon will be again climbing into the 50s and will steadily decline in those temperatures through the beginning parts of next week. So what a roller coaster of a forecast, Dana.
It definitely is. All right, well, firefighters in Colorado Springs rescued an injured deer. It was stuck on a frozen lake. According to the fire department, the deer had fallen through that ice but managed to pull itself out, but you could see it was exhausted and unable to move. Crews in full ice rescue gear carefully secured the frightened animal in a harness and then brought it back to solid ground. Now, once it was on land, here's the good news. The deer quickly regained its strength and ran back into the wild. Officials say teamwork made the rescue possible, and they were grateful to give that deer a second chance. There it goes.
That's great.
I mean, it looked so like horrible there for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's so
and then
small
up
too.
and gone.
Right, exactly. Just recovering so quickly. Just right place at the right time, right?
That's right.
That's really
Firefighters
great.
do amazing things.
They sure
Thank you
do.
so much for all that you do.
Yes.
And we're so glad that you started your day with us. Of course, you can continue on with the noon show. It's coming up here, as well as on CBS 19. And we've got the latest news and weather throughout the day on CBS 19 Plus. We hope you have a good morning, and then join us dark and early for Morning Y'all tomorrow.